Well, family, as we continue on with the reading of the scrolls on how and who Paul was sent to, we know that Yahushua was sent to Judah, to the Jews, the real Jews. And Yahushua commissioned Paul on the road to Damascus to go to the Gentiles. And we're here to see who, what Gentiles was Paul sent to. We continue on in First Kings, and as I start on First King, First King chapter 13, I'm not going to read all of them because um, Judah and Yasharel, or primarily Yasharel, fell so many times. I mean, broke the covenant so many times after the Most High forgave and kept going. But let's go a little bit further to see the patience of the Most High. Okay, First King chapter 13. And see, a man of Elohim went from Judah to Bethel by the word of Yahuwah, while Jeroboam was standing by the altar to burn incense. Remember who Jeroboam is. Jeroboam is now the king of the northern kingdom. And he cried out against the altar by the word of Yahuwah and said, O altar, altar, thus said Yahuwah, see, a son is to be born to the house of David, and Josiah is his name. And on you he shall offer the priests of the high places who burn incense on you, and men's bones be burnt on you. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, this is the sign which Yahuwah has spoken. See, the altar is split apart, and the ashes on it are poured out. And it came to be when King Jeroboam heard the saying of the man of God, the man of Elohim, who cried out against the altar in Bethel, that he stretched out his hand from the altar, saying, seize him. This is Jeroboam saying to seize the prophet, the man of Yah. Then his hand, which he stretched out toward him, dried up, so that he was unable to bring it back to him. So King Jeroboam, when he cried out against the altar and against the men of Yah that was sent to him, he stretched out his hands toward him. His hand dried up so that he was unable to bring it back to him. And the altar was split apart, and the ashes poured out from the altar, according to the sign which the man of Elohim had given by the word of Yahuwah. And the king answered and said to the man of Elohim, please appease the face of Yahuwah, your Elohim, and pray for me that my hand might be restored to me. And the man of Elohim did appease the face of Yahuwah, and the king's hand was restored to him and became as it was before. The king then said to the man of Elohim, the man of Yah, come home with me and refresh yourself, and I will give you a gift. But the man of Elohim said to the king, if you were to give me half your house, I do not go in with you, nor do I eat bread, nor drink water in this place. For so Yahuwah, he commanded me by the word of Yahuwah, saying, do not eat bread, nor drink water, nor return by the same way you came. So he went another way and did not return by the way he came to Bethel. And a certain old prophet was dwelling in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all the works that the man of Yah had done that day in Bethel, the words which he had spoken to the king Jeroboam. And the one whose hand got withered and restored. And their father said to them, which way did he go? And his sons had seen which way the man of Elohim went, who came from Judah. And he said to his sons, saddle the donkey for me. And they saddled the donkey for him, and he rode on it, and went after the man of Elohim, and found him sitting under a terebinth. And he said to him, are you the man of the Most High who came from Judah? And he said, I am. And he said to him, come home with me and eat bread. And he said back to him, I am not able to return with you or to go in with you, nor am I to eat bread or drink water with you in this place. For word came to me by the word of Yahuwah that do not eat bread nor drink water there, nor return by going the way you came. And he said to him, well, I too, I'm a prophet, just like you. And a messenger spoke to me by the word of Yahuwah, saying, bring him back with you to your house, and let him eat bread and drink water. But he lied to him. So he turned back with him and ate bread in his house and drank water. And it came to be, as they sat at the table, that the word of Yahuwah came to the prophet who had brought him back. And he cried out to the man of Yah, who came from Judah, saying, thus said Yahuwah, because you have rebelled against the mouth of Yahuwah, and have not guarded the command which Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you, and turned back and ate bread and drank water in the place of which he said to you, do not eat bread nor drink the water. Your body shall not enter the burying place of your fathers. Oh my Yah. Your body shall not enter the burying place of your fathers. He's not going to be buried with his fathers. And it came to be, after he had eaten bread and after he had drunk, that he saddled a donkey for him, for the prophet whom he had brought back. And he went, and a lion met him on the way and killed him. Disobedience. And everybody wants to be a prophet. Oh my goodness. And his body was thrown on the way, and the donkey was standing by it, and the lion was standing by the body. And see, men were passing by and saw the body thrown on the way, while the lion was standing by the body. And they went and reported it in the city where the old prophet dwelled, the one who lied to him. And the prophet who had brought him back from the way heard it and said, it is the man of Elohim who rebelled against the word of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah gave him to the lion, and it tore him apart and killed him, according to the word of Yahuwah, which he spoke to him. And he spoke to his sons, saying, saddle my donkey for me. And they saddled it. So he went and found his body, the prophet's body, who he lied to, thrown on the way. And the donkey and the lion were standing by the body, protecting it, y'all. The lion had not eaten the body, nor mauled the donkey. And the prophet lifted up the body of the man of Elohim and placed it on the donkey and brought it back. And the old prophet who lied to him came to the city to mourn and to bury him. And he placed his body in his own tomb. And they lamented over him, saying, oh, my brother, because he was sorrowful for what he had done, for lying to him. And, and it came to be, after he had buried him, that he spoke to his own son, saying, when I am dead, then you shall bury me in the tomb where the man of Elohim is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. For the word which he cried out by the word of Yahuwah against the altar in Bethel, and against all the houses of the high places which are in the cities of Samaria, shall certainly come to be. So he said, everything that he prophesied, the man who died, prophet who died, shall come to pass. After this event, Jeroboam did not turn from his evil way, even after his hand got restored and all that. But again, he made more priests from all sorts of people for the high places. Whoever desired, he ordained. Whoever wanted to be ordained, whoever said, I want to be ordained, he ordained them to become one of the priests of the high places. And this matter was the sin of the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off and destroy it from the face of the earth. Go down to 14. At that time, Abiah, the son of Jeroboam, became sick. And Jeroboam said to his wife, please arise and disguise yourself, so that they do not know that you are the wife of Jeroboam, and go to Shiloh. See, Ahiah, the prophet is there, the one who spoke that I will be king over Yasharel, over this people. And you shall take with you 10 loaves and cakes and a jar of honey, and go to him, and let him declare to you what will be become of the child who was sick, their child. And Jeroboam's wife did so, and she rose up and went to Shiloh, and came to the house of Ahiah. But Ahiah was unable to see, for his eyes had dimmed because of his age. He had gotten old. And Yahuwah had said to Ahiah, and Yahuwah had said to Ahiah, see, the wife of Jeroboam is coming to ask you a word about her son, for he is sick. Speak to her thus and thus, for it shall be when she comes in that she's going to make herself strange, unfamiliar. And it came to be when Ahiah heard the sound of her footsteps as she came through the door, he said, come in, wife of Jeroboam. Why are you making yourself strange? And I have been sent to you with some heaviness. In other words, he's telling her, I got some bad news for you. Go and say to Jeroboam, thus said Yahuwah, Elohim of Yasharel, because I exalted you from among the people, and I made you ruler over my people Yasharel, and because I tore the kingdom away from the house of David, and I gave it to you, and you have not been as my servant David, who guarded my commands and who followed me with all his heart, to do only what was right in my eyes. But you have done more evil than all who were before you. For you have gone and made for yourself other gods and molded images to provoke me, and have cast me behind your back. Therefore, see, I am bringing evil to the house of Jeroboam, and shall cut off from Jeroboam every male in Yasharel, whether he's shut up or left at large, and sweep away the remnant of the house of Jeroboam, as one sweeps away dung until it is all gone. Those of Jeroboam who die in the city, the dogs eat. And those who die in the field, the birds of the Shemayim eat. For Yahuwah has spoken it. And you, arise, go to your house. Talking to Jeroboam's wife. When your feet enter the city, the child shall die. And all of Yasharel shall mourn for him and bury him, for he is the only one of Jeroboam who shall come to the grave. Because he said all the rest of them, they're going to be eaten by dogs, and the fields of the birds are going to eat them. But he said, but his but this child, this one, and you, he said, and all, let me go back, and 13, and all of Yasharel shall mourn for him and bury him, for he is the only one of Jeroboam who shall come to the grave and not be eaten by the birds and eaten by the dogs. Because in him there is found a good report toward Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharel in the house of Jeroboam. And Yahuwah shall raise up for himself a king over Yasharel, who cuts off the house of Jeroboam this day and even now. And Yahuwah shall smite Yasharel as a reed is shaken in the water, and shall pluck Yasharel from this good land which he gave to their fathers, and shall scatter them beyond the river, because they made their Asheram their God, provoking Yahuwah. And he shall give Yasharel up because of the sins of Jeroboam, who sinned and who made Yasharel sin. And the wife of Jeroboam, she rose up and went and came to Tirzah. When she came to the threshold of the house, the child died. And they buried him And all of Yasharel lamented for him, mourned him, according to the word of Yahuwah, which he spoke through his servant Ahiyahu, the prophet. And the rest of the acts of Jeroboam, how he fought and how he reigned. See, they are all written in the book of the Annals, which is the book of Chronicles, of the kings of Yasharel and in the kings. And the days that Jeroboam reigned was 22 years. So he slept with his fathers. And Nadab, his son, reigned in his place. Jeroboam died. He died. Meanwhile, Rehoboam, son of Solomon, he was still reigning in Judah. And Rehoboam was 41 years old when he became king, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which Yahuwah has chosen out of all the tribes of Yasharel. Put a pin there, y'all. Chosen out of all the tribes of Yasharel to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naaman, the Ammonitess. And Judah did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, and they provoked him to jealousy too with their sins, which they committed, more than all that their fathers had done. For they also built for themselves high places and pillars and guards on every high hill and under every green tree. And there were also cult prostitutes in the land. And they did according to all the abominations of the Gentiles, which Yahuwah dispossessed before the children of Yasharel. And it came to be in the 5th year of King Rehoboam that Shishak, king of Mizraim, came up against Jerusalem. And he took away the treasures of the house of Yahuwah and the treasures of the king's house. He even took away all. And he took away all the shields of gold which Solomon had made. And King Rehoboam made shields of bronze to replace them and entrusted them into the hands of the chiefs of the guards, who guarded the entrance of the king's house. And it came to be, whenever the king went into the house of Yahuwah, the guards would bring them then and then take them back into the guard room. And the rest of the acts of Rehoboam, king of Judah, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the sovereigns of the kings of Judah? And there was fighting, much fighting between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all the days. So Rehoboam then, he slept with his fathers, he died, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And the name of his mother was Naaman the Ammonitess, and Abiam his son reigned in his place. Continue on. And in the 18th year of King Jeroboam's son of Nabat, Abiam became king over Judah. He reigned 3 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Maacah, the granddaughter of Abishalom. And he walked in all the sins of his father, which he had done before him. And his heart was not perfect to Yahuwah, his Elohim, as was the heart of his father David. David's for that, but for David's sake, Yahuwah, his Elohim, gave him a lamp in Jerusalem. Put a pin there, family. To raise up his son after him, and by establishing Jerusalem. For David did what was right in the eyes of Yahuwah, and did not turn aside from all that he commanded him all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite, the one who he had killed and took his wife. That was the only exception. And there was fighting between the Rehoboams and the Jeroboams all the days of his life. Mm, mm, mm. And the rest of the acts of Abiam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And there were fighting between Abiam and Jeroboam. So Abiam, he slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David. And then and Asa, his son, reigned in his place. And in the 20th year of Jeroboam, who was king of Yasharal, Asa became king over Judah. And he reigned 41 years in Jerusalem. And his grandmother's name was Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom. And Asa, he did what was right in the eyes of Yahuwah, as his father David had done. And he put away the cult prostitutes from the land and removed all the idols that his fathers had made. And he also removed Maacah, his grandmother, from being queen mother because she had made an abominable image for Asherah. And Asa cut down her abominable image and burned it by the Wadi Kidron. But the high places were not removed. However, Asa's heart was perfect with Yahuwah all his days. And he brought into the house of Yahuwah the Kodesh items of his father, the holy items of his father, and his own Kodesh items, silver and gold and utensils. And there was fighting between Asa and Baasha, who was the king at that time of Yasharel, all their days. And Baasha, king of Yasharel, he came up against Judah and built Ramah to keep anyone from going out or coming in to Asa, the king of Judah. And Asa took all the silver and gold that was left in the treasures of the house of Yahuwah and the treasuries of the king's house, and gave them into the hands of his servants. And King Asa sent them to Ben-Hadad, son of Tabrenum, son of Hezron, king of Aram, who dwelt in Damascus, saying, Let there be a covenant between you and me, as there was between my father and your father. Look, I have sent you a present of silver and gold. Come, break your covenant with Baasha, the kingdom of Yasharel, so that he withdraws from me. And Ben-Hadad listened to King Asa and sent the command of his armies against the cities of Yasharel and smote Eon and Dan and Abel and Beth and Makkah and Kinneroth with the land of Naphtali. And it came to be when Baasha heard it that he stopped building Ramah and remained in Tirsah. Then King Asa summoned all of Judah, and none was exempted. And they took away the stones and the timbers of Ramah, which Baasha had used for building. And with them, King Asa built Geba of Benjamin and a Mizpah. And the rest of all the acts of Asa and all his might and all that he did and the cities which he built, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Jehudah? But in the time of his old age, he was diseased in his feet. So Asa slept, he died, with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father. And Jehoshaphat, his son, reigned in his place. And Nadab, son of Jeroboam, became king over Israel in the second year of Asa, king of Judah, and he reigned over Yasharel 2 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, and walked in the way of his father Jeroboam, and in his sin by which he had made Yasharel sin. Then Baasha, son of Ahiah, of the house of Issachar, conspired against him, and Baasha smote him at Gibbethon, which belonged to the Pelethites. For Nadab and all of Yasharel had laid siege to Gibbethon. And Baasha killed him in the third year of Asa's kingdom of Judah, and reigned in his place. And it came to be, when he became king, that he smote all the house of Jeroboam. He did not leave Jeroboam anyone breathing until he had destroyed them. Remember what the Most High said what was going to happen? He wasn't going to leave nothing for Jeroboam. Nobody going to be left in his house. According to the word of Yahuwah, which he had spoken by his servant Ahiah the Shilonite, because of the sins of Jeroboam, which had sinned and by which he had made Yasharel sin, because of his provocation with which he had provoked Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharel. And the rest of the acts of Nabal and all that he did, Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kingdoms of Yasharel? Telling you, you have to go back and look at all the Chronicles. It all is all right there. And there was fighting between Asa and Baasha, king of Yasharel, all their days. In the 3rd year of Asa's kingdom of Judah, Baasha, son of Ayaha, became king over Yasharel and Tirsah and reigned 24 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah and walked in the way of Jeroboam and his sin by which he had made Yasharel. I stop there. I'm going to stop there, and then we're going to move on from there, because if you continue to read First Kings on all the abomination, all the things that they did, breaking that very first commandment from the Most High. It went on and on and on. It went on and on and on. We're going to continue now in the next lesson, the next reading, rather.